if I could show you a way to add tons of value to people's lives so you can have a profound sense of happiness and contribution, make great new interesting friends all over the world, give people hope for the future, and offer irresistible invitations to your product and business so you can sell and recruit just like all the top earners in your company, would you be open to paying attention to the life-changing presentation that's about to follow? Hey there, my friend. This is Paul Hutchings, co-founder of the Home Business Academy, and I want to welcome you back. I want to welcome you here to this lesson, this module, which is called Irresistible Invitations. I believe that the information that you're going to get as you continue to pay attention can literally change your life, can cause you to step into even greater freedom, and also can empower you to be a huge blessing and a light to the people around you. So I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for being here. I want to introduce you to my friend Carter, okay? This is actually a guy that lives in my hometown here in Southeast Idaho. You see, he's got a beautiful family here. And when I first got started building my home-based business, I was actually working for an auto auction, and part of my job was to go around to all of the car dealerships in Southeast Idaho where I live and visit them and see if I could get them to send cars to the auction and see if I could get them to come to the auction and buy the cars that we had for sale. Well, I had just gotten started in the home business profession, and I had this product that I was kind of excited about, as well as the business opportunity, right? And I was going to visit this guy who owned this car dealership. His name's Carter. You see him here in the picture. And I remember the day specifically. It was a summer day, and I pulled up to his car lot. Obviously, Carter owns a car lot here in my hometown. And I pull up to his car lot, and his garage door is up, and he's inside the garage working on a vehicle. And I get out of my car, and I'm thinking, okay, here I go. I'm going to make this amazing approach, and I'm going to invite him to look at my product, this amazing product, and look at this business. But I'm kind of nervous. I'm sweating a little bit, right? And I get out of my car, and I start to walk in this garage door that was up, and he hears me coming in, so he steps out of the truck, walks towards me a little bit, reaches his hand to shake my hand. I reach out to shake his hand, and right at that exact moment in time, I say, "Hey, Carter, I've run across an amazing product that I think you might be really interested in." And all of a sudden, the magic of the moment screeched to a halt, and it was like I entered the Twilight Zone, and this music started playing that was like, and Carter's eyes got big and wide, and he took a step back, and this is what he looked like. And this is how I used to approach people about my network marketing business. Well, what we're going to cover in this presentation is some shifts that I made so that not only do people not have this reaction when I approach them about my business, but actually have a totally different reaction. And so in this presentation, you're going to learn a magical invitation process that makes it nearly impossible for people to say anything but yes when you invite them to look at your products and business. So specifically in this presentation, we're going to cover some foundational thinking that can really help in this process. We're going to cover the irresistible 3-step invitation formula. We're going to cover confirming the commitment, and we're also going to cover how to handle curveballs, because sometimes people do like to throw a curveball now and then, and I want to equip you and empower you with information so that if a curveball ever does get thrown your way, you'll know how to just take that bat and smack that ball and make it a home run. Does that sound like a good thing? All right, here we go. Before I get too far into the training, I just wanted to share this testimonial with you real quick. This is Madura. She's actually one of our Freedom Crusaders inside of our community, and she said, "Paul, I just want to thank you. Before I learned this invitation formula, nobody would respond to me. In fact, she was telling me about how she was reaching out to friends and family and people about her business, and literally like no response. And then she said, after I learned and applied the formula, almost every single person I invited said yes. And she was just so happy to have that better result in her life based on the information that I'm going to be sharing with you here in this presentation. So shout out to Madura for being coachable and also for taking action in her life and business. Now, some foundational thinking. Zig Ziglar, you may have heard this quote before. Maybe you haven't. In either case, this is really good to put in your brain right now as we prepare to go through this information. Zig Ziglar said, sales is not a thing in the world, but a transference of feeling. And this is really important for a couple of different reasons. Reason number one is it's really important that whatever product or business you're marketing, you really believe in it. You really believe that it can be a blessing to the people that you're reaching out and connecting with. Why? Because sales is not a thing in the world, but a transference of feeling, as Zig Ziglar said. And if you believe that what you have is great, it'll make all the difference in the process that I'm about to share with you. Now, on the flip side, if you don't believe in your product or your business, what I'm going to share with you, it just won't work that well. And the reason why I think is because, like Emerson said, men and women are wiser than they know. People will hear words, but if your feeling underlying your words is not authentic and real and, based on good intention, people will feel that. So that's number one. Number two is, it's important to feel good about the process that I'm going to be sharing with you. And there are some things that I can share with you that I think might make a difference. I want to share with you just a couple of quick reasons that I love the home-based business profession. Because again, if you can love something, if you can feel good about reaching out and opening a door for someone so that they can step into something better, then that concept, that feeling transfers over into everything that you're going to be doing here throughout this process. So from my perspective, I love the home-based business profession because it's a way for people to start wherever they're at. When I first got started learning about financial freedom, I would read these books on traditional business and real estate and how you could buy all this real estate and cash flow properties and build up a stream of pipeline money. But what I quickly realized was that you either had to have a lot of money to buy the real estate, or you had to be willing to go in debt or use other people's money to be able to buy the real estate. And same with traditional businesses. Last I heard, a McDonald's franchise is over $1 million just to get the franchise, not even including the real estate and the building costs, just $1 million just for the franchise. So a lot of the ways that people traditionally use to build wealth are outside the reach of most people if they don't have money. Well, guess what? The home business profession is within the reach of everybody as long as they're willing to have the fire of freedom burning in their heart, and as long as they're willing to learn some things and take action and be persistent over time. We literally can be bringing a door to a better future, a door to financial freedom, a door to more happiness, health, wealth, prosperity to every single person we connect with. And so when you think about that, that's an exciting thing, isn't it? It changes things a little bit when you think about it that way versus like, oh, I'm just going to sell someone a product, or, oh, I'm just going to sell someone, a business opportunity. It's like, no, we're connecting with people and giving them potentially a door to a whole new life. Oh my gosh, I just get excited thinking about that. So I love that the home business profession is a way for people to start wherever they're at. And I just wanted to reinforce that so that me and you and all of the Freedom Crusaders inside the Home Business Academy, we recognize how special that really is. And that'll translate over into the process that I'm going to share with you. The second thing that I love about the home business profession is that not only are we offering a door to a better future, the door that we present to people could literally be the doorway to their soul and infinite potential. And what do I mean by this? Well, before I got introduced to the home business profession, I was working a job. I wasn't reading any books. I wasn't listening to any audios. I was just getting paid by the hour, and my potential was capped at a certain level. But when I got introduced to the home business profession, even though I went a year and didn't make any money, that first company that I joined, they had a recommended reading list. And what happened for me was I got so hungry for knowledge, so hungry for information. I got introduced to books like we study in our audio mastermind series. Think and Grow Rich is one. On that recommended reading list were books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Psycho-Cybernetics, Man's Search for Meaning, all these amazing books that literally, as I look back on it now, it was like someone opened the door to my soul, and I saw the depths of infinite potential there, and it just got me on this path to wanting to understand what was inside of me and having this commitment to stay on the path and do whatever I needed to do to bring it out into the world. And that's something special, isn't it? And to think that we have the opportunity to offer that to every single person that we connect with, that is really a unique and special thing. Now, this third one kind of ties into those first two, but contribution. The process that I'm going to show you is a way for us to literally contribute to people's lives, whether they join our businesses or not. And one of the things that you might find as you continue to read and listen to audios is that it's not an uncommon thing for people to make a lot of money and then get to a point where they are unfulfilled and they're unhappy. In fact, it happens over and over and over again. And Napoleon Hill's last book, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, he talks about how he knew all the richest people on the planet. He stayed at their homes. He knew their children. He spent the weekends with them. And he said out of all of them, there was a very small select few that actually had peace of mind. And I think peace of mind can be related to happiness. And so one of the things that I've noticed is that in my life, I tend to be more happy when I'm contributing to the lives of the people around me. If I rest on my laurels and just, be happy with the money that I'm making and stop contributing to people's lives, my happiness level goes way down. And so if you're just getting started in building your home-based business, I would really like to pass along this lesson to you, because if you can grab it, not only will it make you better in what I'm going to teach you, but it will also allow you to enjoy the journey, realizing that you're actually fulfilling your life's purpose right now, even if you don't have all the money that you want to have yet, because you'll be contributing and engaging in a process that can bring happiness and joy not only to others, but also to yourself. Now, there are some prerequisites to making what I'm about to share with you work and work well. Prerequisite number one is that you have to have people's best interests at heart. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, using that quote from Emerson, men are wiser than they know. If you have people's best interest at heart, when you connect with them, they will feel it. I would go so far as to say, as you even want to have people's interest at heart to such a degree that if you connect with people and your product or your service is really not going to be a fit for them, but you can share another resource that might be a fit for them, you'll have no trouble in actually just putting your products and business to the side and sharing with them maybe a book or a mastermind audio or something that can bless their life. That kind of an intention, going into this with that kind of an intention, people will feel that, and it's something that you can't fake. So a prerequisite to making what I'm about to share with you work is definitely to have people's best interest at heart. Now, the other thing is understanding the value of an exchange, and this is sort of a way of thinking that I had when I first started having success and overcoming my fear in connecting with people. It was just a slight little shift. So I used to be fearful that, what if I talk to people or connect with people who are a lot more successful than I am? And I would have this fear, right? And then the other fear was, okay, well, what if I talk to people who are less successful than me and I don't recruit them in my business? So then I was scared of that. But I had a little shift in thinking that really just changed everything for me. And that was when I decided that regardless of whether any products or services changed hands or any money changed hands, there was value in the exchange, in the interaction, all by itself. And so what I decided to myself was, if I connect with someone who's more successful than me, guess what? I can learn from them. I'll have an opportunity to pick up a lesson or a nugget as to how did they get to where they are. I can learn from them. Or on the flip side, if I connect with someone who maybe is not quite ready to buy my products or join my business, I can share something of value with them that can be a blessing to them. I can plant a seed of goodness, and there is value in that totally outside whether or not I make money. And that is a mindset that can really, really, really help you as you engage in this process. Another thing to think about, if you cannot serve the one, how can you ever serve the many? A lot of people jump into the home business profession and they just want to get massive leads and sales on autopilot, and they just want to jump straight to the top of the leadership, and they just want to be on stage speaking to masses of people. And hey, all that's admirable, right? Good for you if that's your goal. But here's my point. If you cannot serve the one, how can you ever serve the many? It's a great question to ask, isn't it? And so on your journey of building your home-based business, it is going to be a great thing for you to learn how to serve people one at a time through this process that we're going to be sharing with you. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is the best advice I ever got, actually, in my home-based business career, and it came from the owner of the very first network marketing company that I was a part of. He's a very successful man, and this is one thing that I remember clear back from my first year of building my home-based business, and this is what he said. He said, Paul, if you want to be successful in this business, become a student of human nature. Become a student of human nature. You know, we talked back in the first lesson in the Home Business Academy about how there are principles and laws, and these principles and laws are always at work. Well, when you become a student of human nature, one of the things you'll realize is that human beings mainly operate in similar ways. And so if you can understand human nature, that can really empower you in moving forward in new and powerful ways inside your business and inside your life. And so how does this relate to what we're about to talk about? Well, there are a few different ways you can learn about human nature. You can learn about human nature in books, which is a great way. We highly recommend books and audios. Yes, and you can learn about human nature from directly interacting with other human beings. And I know that's like, oh, come on, Paul, that's like, of course, right? But seriously, one of the best things I ever did was learn how to connect with people so that I could get value from them, give value to them, and so that I could also study them along the way. This is one of the best things you can do to not only become a student of human nature, but also learn to master human nature so that you can be more effective in your mission here on this planet. The last thing I want to share with you in terms of foundational thinking or thinking patterns that are useful in preparation for this process that I'm going to be sharing with you is this quote from Napoleon Hill, where he said, if money is all you have in your paycheck at the end of the week, you have been grossly underpaid. Now, there's this term that I like to use from time to time. It's called soul pay. And what is soul pay? Well, soul pay is the pay you get that is not in your pay envelope, that comes from the work that you do. And in this process that I'm going to share with you, there is lots of soul pay. Smiles from people, laughs from people, being able to share some things that changes someone's life, being able to share some things that maybe changes the course of someone's entire future, being able to take someone's gaze from a spot where they were just looking down at the ground and being able to lift it up towards the sky, towards the stars, is sort of like that great poem that says, two men looked out from prison bars, one saw the mud, the other the stars. We get to do that in this process that I'm going to share with you, and that's soul pay. And so I would encourage you that as you're learning and engaging in this process on your way to becoming a master, that you look not just for the money that shows up in your bank account at the end of the month or every couple of weeks, but that you also look back upon your day and look for the soul pay. You know, what conversations did I have today that were great? What conversations did I have today where I learned something? What conversations did I have today where maybe I was a blessing in the path of another human being? And that will really help you not only gain great happiness, but also stay focused on this process of building your freedom. So let's go ahead and jump into the irresistible invitation. And as you can see, I've got a magic wand. Why? Because this 3-step formula can be magical for what it can do for your life and your future. And it's simple. 3 steps. Step number 1, make a friend. Step number 2, find a need. Step number 3, suggest a solution. So step number 1, make a friend. What are you looking to do when you make a friend? Well, what you want to do is you want to build rapport. In one of our last lessons, we talked about rapport. What's rapport? Rapport is a feeling of harmony, comfortableness, familiarity between two people. It's just a feeling of, you know, hey, I'm like you, you're like me, I feel good with you. That's rapport. And so when we're connecting with people, especially in the process of building new relationships, this is a really important part of the process. And the number one way to do this that I found is simply by being others focused. What does that mean? It means you just take an intense interest in the other person. You ask them questions. You listen to what they're telling you. You relate to them every once in a while. So like if they tell you they've got children and you happen to have children, you can say, oh, I've got kids too. How many kids do you have? And then you turn the question back on them because you want to be others focused, meaning the amount of talking that you do is very little and the amount of talking that they do is a lot. lot. You want to just kind of guide them to tell you about them, tell you about their family, tell you about their dreams, tell you about their current situation. And you're just asking questions, you're listening intently, and then every once in a while, you're relating a little bit. And why do you want to relate? Well, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if they feel like you are like them, which you are, you're finding commonalities. Maybe you grew up in the same town. Maybe you grew up in the same state. Maybe you like some of the same things. You want to find points, if you can, where you're like them, and then you just kind of highlight that real quick, Oh, I like to read too. What are some of your favorite books? So you just relate just a little bit, and then you ask them another question and get them talking again. And then the other thing that you want to do is you want to express interest in what they're telling you. And one of the ways to do this is to take notes. I mean, obviously this won't work in a one-on-one environment where you're looking at each other's faces, but if you're connecting with people on social media or maybe via the phone, you can have a notepad out and you can take notes and write things down. And as they're telling you, you're expressing interest in what they're saying by saying things like, wow, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. That's incredible. Really? You're just like expressing interest in what they're telling you, and that goes a long way in building rapport. And then another little quick tip is to laugh where appropriate. If they say something that's funny, laugh. If you say something that's funny, just chuckle a little bit, and that lightens things up and I think goes a long way in building rapport. Now, a great book you can read on this topic is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is probably the best book ever written on Law of Success number 9, which you'll learn about in our Mastermind audio training series. And as you make a decision to study the Law of Success by Napoleon Hill, Law of Success number 9 is develop a pleasing personality. It really is important on your journey to success and freedom to enhance your personality and how pleasing you are in your relationships. And this book will tell you how to do it. Now, it's also very, very learnable. And the reason that I know this is because I didn't used to have what people would call a pleasing personality, and I read this book and it literally changed everything. I mean, I've hit some of the highlights here on this slide, but this book will take you into a deep dive on how to have a more pleasing personality. Now, you can use the form method if you like. It's not a requirement, but if you ever get to a spot where you're not quite sure what questions to ask the people you're interacting with, you can remember this acronym, FORM. It stands for family, occupation, recreation, and money, and can just serve as a little guide to prompt your memory to ask them about their family, to ask them about their occupation, to ask them about recreation, and to ask them about money. If you haven't done this a lot, then it might be a little bit of a new skill to learn, and that's okay. But here's what I'll promise you is if you'll make the decision to practice this and get good over time, it literally will become second nature to you. You'll love it. You'll have fun with it because you'll realize that people are like books and all people have amazing, interesting stories and you can learn from them and, you can add value to their lives. And it just turns into this really, really fun process after you've done this for a little bit of time. And obviously you can make a lot of money doing it too and be free, which makes it even better. Now, going back to this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, I wanted to tell you just a quick story. My first experiment with this stuff that I'm talking about here, I remember specifically because, as I mentioned before, I didn't always have what people would call a pleasing personality. I was more of a shy, reclusive type of a person. And I read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I thought, I wonder if this stuff works. So I went to a family reunion, and in this picture, you see my wife's cousin, who is the gentleman there in the center of the picture, and his wife there. And this family was at this family reunion, and I thought, I'm going to test this stuff out. So I started talking to this gal in the picture. Her name's Stephanie, and I remember for about a 40-minute time frame, I just asked her questions and listened. And as she talked, I would express interest. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's really interesting. And then I would just keep asking her questions. And for like 30 or 40 minutes, we had this conversation where I really said very little other than to ask questions and express interest. We get done with the reunion. We go home. And my wife says, I was talking to Stephanie and she said, you were the most amazing conversationalist. She just really enjoyed talking with you. And I chuckled to myself and I was like, well, that's exactly what the book said would happen, right? That's what Dale Carnegie says in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He says, when you ask questions, listen, and become others focused and express interest in others, all of a sudden, you're the life of the party. People love you. And it's just such a great, easy way to develop rapport when you're connecting with people that you really want to do it. So just wanted to pass that along. The next step in the process is find a need. What you're doing in addition to building rapport is you're looking for a need. And what do I mean by that? Well, according to Tony Robbins, human beings are motivated by two things: hope of gain and or fear of loss. What does that mean? It means people have desires. They have things they want to do. They have things they want to achieve. This is all gain type stuff. And then they also have pain type stuff, where they've got problems in their lives. They're depressed. Maybe they want to lose weight. Maybe they don't have as much money as they'd like to have. And these are like, the fear of loss or the pain type stuff. So what we're looking for when we connect with people is we're looking for gain or pain, because this allows us to prepare to be able to deliver a very, very, very effective invitation, the magical invitation that I'm going to share with you here in just a minute. But I wanted to share with you another concept here that can help you both now and also in the future. This is a very famous marketer named Frank Kern, and he taught me something that has been very valuable to me in my marketing and also in understanding human nature. He said that when you're writing a headline, okay, now we're not talking about generating leads yet, but we will teach you how to generate leads in our academy. And when you begin learning how to generate leads, you're going to learn about headlines, headlines on web pages. How do you capture people's attention? And Frank Kern is a master at this. And one of the things he said was a great headline formula is how to get yay without boo. That's a really great way to capture people's attention. Now, I share that with you, both to plant a seed for the future when you're learning lead generation, to just kind of tuck that away and keep that in your mind is a great way to write headlines, but also because it's totally applicable to working with people and to what we're talking about here. What I showed you on the previous slide, Tony Robbins, human beings are motivated by two things: hope of gain, which is yay, or fear of loss, which is boo, right? And so when we're making a friend, we're not only building rapport, we're trying to find the yay and the boo in that person's life, okay? That's what we're looking for. Another way to think of this process that's really helpful is to imagine yourself going to the doctor's office. Let's say one day, heaven forbid, you come down with a terrible stomach ache and you go into the doctor and you're sitting there waiting for the doctor, your stomach's in pain, and after a little bit of wait time, the doctor comes in, shakes your hand, looks at you, grabs the prescription pad, starts writing and says, okay, well, here you go. That should fix up your toe just right. And then he walks out and you're like, wait, it's not my toe that hurts. I got a stomach ache. And he just ignores you and walks right on out the door, right? That is called prescription without diagnosis, and it is malpractice. For a doctor to not actually take the time to find out what ails you, but to go ahead and give you a prescription, that's malpractice, right? In the home business profession, it happens all the time. We just assume that we have the answer. We just assume that we have the prescription for everybody, and the fact is, we don't. We have to actually take the time to find out what is wrong with that person. Where are they sick, right? Where is their boo, or where is their yay? And if we do that, if we do this process effectively, where we make a friend, we find a need, then we can get to the next step in the formula, which is called suggest the solution. And this is all going to come together here on this slide. And you're going to see why we've taken the time to be thorough and effective in this process. And basically what you do is you simply ask, if I could show you insert benefit, would you be open to insert what you want them to do? So for example, if I could show you how to get exactly what you just told me you wanted, would you be open to watching a video? If I could show you how to get rid of that pain that you just told me you had, would you be open to watching a video that might help you get rid of that pain? Do you see how magical this is? Like, it's literally nearly impossible for people to say no to this when you do it right. And here's just a couple examples. If I could show you a way to potentially quit that job so you can have more time at home with your kids, Would you be open to watching a short video that might help you do that? So you've taken the time to get to know someone. They've told you that they want to quit their job so that they can be home with their family. So when you give the invitation, literally it's like, if I could give you exactly what you wanted, would you be open to watching a video? How can they say no to that? Another example, if I could show you a way to get out of debt faster so you can have more peace of mind, would you be open to watching a video that might help you do that? I've literally spoken with many people who would tell me that they just have all of this debt. And because they have this debt, they don't have peace of mind. And really, they just want peace of mind. So if you take the time to connect with someone and they tell you exactly what ails them, you can literally ensure that nearly every single person you connect with and invite will say, yes, I'd love to see that solution, because you're giving them a solution to their challenge. Now, if you happen to take the time to make a friend, you're looking for the need, but you don't find it, but you've still taken the time to build rapport, there is a way for you to still give an invitation. And you don't want to waste this, right? If you've taken the time to build rapport with someone, you want to invite them. Here's what you can say. Hey, Sarah, I know this might be kind of a long shot, but I've got to ask, would you by chance be open to taking a look at a way to develop an income stream outside of what you're currently doing? So in this case, we don't have the specific yay or the specific boo, right? But there's a good chance that people, when asked in the right way, will be open to generating extra income as long as there's trust and they believe that it's possible. And so this actually works pretty well. So if you go through this process, you don't find the specific yay or the specific boo, you can say, hey, Sarah, I know this might be kind of a long shot, but I've got to ask, would you by chance be open to taking a look at a way to develop an income stream outside of what you're currently doing? Sure, I'd be open. Here's another one. Hey, Bill, I know this probably isn't for you, but I thought I'd ask just in case. Do you ever look at ways to generate income outside of what you're currently doing, or are you closed off to stuff like that? So this has a little twist on it, right? And the twist is we say, do you ever look at ways to generate income outside of what you're currently doing, or are you closed off? Who likes to be closed off? No one really, right? And so this is a really good one to use as well. If you didn't find that need, you can use either one of these. Both of them work really well. Now, after they tell you, yeah, I'm open, then you can say something like, awesome, I've got a short 5-minute video I'd like to send. And then you want to confirm the commitment. If I send it now, when can you watch it? And if you'll recall from our last lesson or our last module, we actually talked about this in the last module. People are way more likely to actually watch the video if they know you're going to follow up. So this is just a great laid back way to say that I'd like to follow up, okay? And just again, awesome, I've got a short 5-minute video I'd like to send. If I send it now, when can you watch it? Well, I can probably watch it today. Perfect. I'd love to touch base after you've seen it to get your thoughts. If you've got some interest, I can answer any questions you might have. And if not, that's totally cool. I have some time Thursday at 9 a.m. Or it looks like I've got some time Friday at 2 p.m. Would one of those times work better for you? Let's see. Yeah, sure. Friday at 2, that would be great. Okay, awesome. I'll talk to you then. And then you can say something like, oh, what's the best way to get this video to you? Email or Facebook maybe. Okay, I'll send it right over. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now. And then boom, you've planted that seed, right? You've planted that seed. You've taken a cold contact. You've turned them into a warm contact. You've found out exactly what they wanted, and you've given them a door that if they so choose, they can walk through to get exactly what they want, or to get out of whatever pain they're in, or to step into that most beautiful, amazing future. And you've done all of that just by deciding to do this effectively and to practice. And I'm telling you, I'm just so excited for you to take this information and use it, because it can help you not just in the simple things that we're going to be sharing with you inside the academy, but also as we get into the more advanced things. This information is going to help you all the way through your home business journey. So, last thing I want to cover is handling curveballs. This doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes people will ask, well, what is it? Can you tell me more about it? And the last thing that you want to do is ever get stuck explaining your products or your business on the phone. Because if you'll recall, we are different than sales in that we let the tools and the videos do the selling, telling, and explaining. We never do that. We don't want to do that, okay? And so if someone asks you, what is it? Can you tell me more about it? You can say, I'd love to tell you more, but I'm in a bit of a rush. This video should explain everything. Let me send this over and we can talk more after you watch it, okay? Okay, pretty simple, laid back. Now, another curveball you might run into every once in a great while. This hasn't happened to me very often, but every once in a while, you'll run into someone who wants to hassle you or give you a hard time or get aggressive with the questioning. And a lot of times when this happens, basically what you've got is you've got a case of someone who is just trying to assert their superiority over you. And it's never really a good idea to continue to engage with that type of a person. So if they hassle you, give you a hard time, or get aggressive with the questioning, this is a really good thing to say. You know what, Bill? It sounds like this isn't going to be a fit for you. I appreciate the time. I wish you the best. Gotta run. And then you end the conversation. Practice that. It sounds like this isn't going to be a fit for you. Okay, that is such a magical line because you literally have just dangled a cookie in front of their face and then you just took it away. And what that usually does is it makes them want it more, but there are some cases, like if someone's giving you a really hard time or getting aggressive, you might not want to work with that person. Tim Ferriss said, poisonous people do not deserve your time. To think otherwise is masochistic. We don't want to self-inflict pain or punishment on ourselves, right? So just the quote to kind of keep in mind. Now, what we've covered today so far, we covered some foundational thinking. We covered having the right intentions, understanding that this is actually a process that we can use to contribute and radically alter and change the lives of other people, bringing happiness to them and to ourselves. We covered the irresistible 3-step invitation formula. Make a friend, find a need, suggest the solution. We covered confirming the commitment, and we also covered how to handle curveballs. So we're going to continue to build on your pyramid of knowledge here in the Academy. And our next lesson I'm really excited about for a couple of reasons. I'm excited because of the content. Number one, inside the content of the next module, you're going to discover an unlimited, free, never-ending supply of simple tech-free leads that you can use to grow your business, which is amazing, right? You don't have to go out there and spend money on leads. We can actually show you how to get free leads, and we're going to show you how to do that in the next module. And I'm also excited because in the next module, you're going to have the chance to get to know my partner and co-founder, Mr. Mike Hobbs, who is a 7-figure plus earner in the home business profession. He's got so much knowledge and expertise to share with you. Mike actually, not only has he been able to generate a lot of income from home, he's a man of great character, integrity. He's constantly buying courses and going to seminars all related to marketing so that he can bring the best of what he has back here to us inside the Home Business Academy so that we don't have to be buying courses all the time and going to seminars all the time. Not that doing that is not a good thing, but isn't it nice to know that we have someone inside the Academy who is actively investing lots and lots and lots of money to make sure that his knowledge is up to speed and innovative and fresh, and he's always bringing the best of what he has back here to our Freedom Crusading community. So those are some of the reasons I love Mike Hobbs, and I think you're going to love him too. So you'll meet him in the next module. In closing, I just want to let you know that you can do this. I believe in you. I mean, if I can go from getting this type of a response from the people that I approached about my business to getting this type of a response where they're happy and filled with love and harmonious when I invite them to look at my products and services, I believe you can too. And it's just a matter of getting the right information, which you've received in this training module, taking that and then combining it with action in your business, actually going out there every day, connecting with people, blessing people's lives, and just practicing and getting better over time. And you'll get to a spot where it becomes automatic, it becomes easy, it becomes fun, it'll become something that you love, it'll become something that can give you a lot of satisfaction and joy in life because you'll know that every single day you're making a difference in people's lives. And obviously you can grow an amazing income, an amazing team, and live a life of freedom. So I'm just super excited about that, and we will see you in the next module. Whatever you do, always go for your dreams. This is Paul Hutchings. Take care, and bye for now.